Oh, no. Hey, am I live? I don't even know. I don't even know because it just said I was and then it said I wasn't. Hey, everybody, it's me. It's Friday night. How are you tonight? I'm so excited. I'm taking a break from work. I've been over here working, getting my office set up, and I'm doing some trainings. I'm in this 14-day challenge. To be a better me is part of it. And I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned so far, if you guys don't mind. Hi, Gail. Hi, Leslie. Do you like my hat? I've decided I might become a hat person. I might become a hat person. I don't know. Anyway, I got a couple of things that I just wanted to share with you. I've been trying to put these in my life for the past few weeks. I listened to the book The Secret, and it opened my eyes to some things, and there were some other books, but this training I'm doing with Ray Higdon is just going right along with what I've been learning. And hey, Jill, I just wanted to run real quick through a couple of the things that I have learned and that I am putting into practice, and I thought you guys might want to put them into practice as well. Um, First of all, practice gratitude. Like, be grateful to people when they're doing things for you. Be grateful just for everything. Like, even the bad things that happen to you, be grateful. Say thank you to people, because that the bad things that happen to you are shaping you to be the person that you are supposed to be. And when somebody does something, hi Michelle, when somebody does something great for you or just even holds a door, say thank you. People are not grateful enough, and part of that is what's wrong with our society. Nobody says thank you anymore. So say thank you. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm grateful about that. I'm trying to see how much time I have. A couple other things are being happy is more important than being right. And that's so true, because when you are so busy trying to prove yourself right, there's no time for happiness. Hey, Kelly. Um, Forgiving people and events, because, if it's in the past, it's in the past. Don't let the past ruin your future. Don't let the past ruin your future. Oh, I can't see. And don't let it. If you're not forgiving, then you are, in essence, saying that you have some control over what's already happened and you can change that. You don't have any control over the past. You control your future, and that's what really matters, right? The future, today and forward. So let's quit looking back. Let's forgive. We don't have to forget the crap, but we need to forgive it, because that is a burden that we carry around with us, whether we feel like we are carrying it or not. And forgiving. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Ann. Hey, Shannon. Forgiveness is huge, huge. And I learned several years ago the power that forgiveness has. Um, a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I was in my 20s, I was sexually abused. Assaulted, not abused. Sorry. I was sexually assaulted. There's a big difference between the two. Um, I thought that I could trust this person, and obviously I could not. Um, so I was assaulted. And everybody always, when you go through something like that, you think, why me? Why me? Well, it was because of me, because he chose to attack me. And I went to the police, that they were able to catch him. And it turns out, I didn't know this, it turns out he was a serial rapist, a serial pedophile, and he had been abusing, hi Amy, he had been abusing the girls in his family, nieces, um, friends of theirs. For all I know, he probably did nephews too. I don't know. He's a monster. Um, and I carried around with me. I just, I dealt with my stuff, and I never thought any more of it. But I started doing things that were detrimental to me as a way to protect myself from being hurt again like that. Like, I figured, if I wasn't attractive, that guys wouldn't like want to attack me, right? So anyway, I went through all that. Well, a few years ago, a friend of mine convinced me to go to a Trace Diaz. Thank you, Claudia, for that. I really love you for that and appreciate you. During this Trace Diaz, um, for those of you who don't know, it's 3 days. It's a spiritual thing, and you just build your relationship and renew your relationship with Christ and God. And this was a life changer for me, and I didn't know that it was going to be so impactful. But during this weekend, it was about forgiveness and allowing ourselves to forgive ourselves for the things that we had done and forgive people for the things that they had done to us. So, hi, Angie. So, I don't know who this is, so I'm going to ignore it. Sorry about that, people. So I was like, I don't have anybody to forgive. And I sat with the group of women, the small group that I was in, and I sat with the pastor who was there, and they were all praying, right? They all said, pray for me about this, um, and pray for me. And what came to mind for me was when they said, do you need to be prayed for? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm okay. Life's good. I'm great. And they're like, um, isn't there something that you feel like you need prayer for? And I was like, well, the thing that came to my mind that had happened 20 years before that was my assault. And I mentioned that, and they prayed for me. And then the pastor asked me if I had forgiven him. And I'm like, no, I didn't forgive him. Why would I forgive him? He like ruined me. And he's like, you need to forgive him. And I said, no, I don't need to forgive him. And he says, yes, you do. And let me tell you why. And he told me, he says that forgiveness is like a poison that stays in you, and it eats at you. It eats at your soul, and it eats at your being, your very essence. And carrying that around with you, hey, everybody, carrying that around with you affects everything else in your life, whether you realize it or not. And I said, well, I can't do it. He goes, just say the words. And I said, no, I can't just say the words. I don't mean them, so I can't say them. And he says, just say it. And so I did. I'm afraid to say them now because I may start crying again. But I broke down. He's like, I said, I don't mean them. And he says, it doesn't matter if you mean them. You have to say them out loud. So I said, I forgive him. I said his name because I know his name. Um, and I collapsed in a heap. This is not what I wanted to talk about tonight, but I feel like I got this forgiveness thing really means a lot. It's a huge part of letting your past be your past and moving forward to what your great future could be. And until you let go of your past and you let go of the things that the wrongs, whether they really happened or not, um, the wrongs that you think have been done to you, you need to let those go. And the only way to do that is to forgive the people. And if you don't believe it, say it out loud anyway. I had to say it several times. He made me say it several times. And I literally broke down. I fell into a heap and I was bawling. And let me tell you, when I left there that night, it was an evening thing and we all went to our rooms. I was like stone quiet, but I felt a weight had been lifted off of me that I didn't even know I was carrying around. Hey, Becky. Hi, Nancy. Um, and then, and then I got a notice from the court back in Washington that he was up for parole and they needed me to come and testify. Like, hello, total God connection thing there. He was preparing me for having to go back and take care of this guy once and for all. So I was able to do that. I was scared to death, and that's a whole other story, which I can tell you about another time, because lots of things happened to me on that trip. But right now we're talking about forgiveness and how you need to forgive and release yourself from that poison. You need to live in happiness and gratitude. And no matter what happens in your life, try to focus on your happiness, because you are the one that's in control of your happiness. And being happy is way more important than being right. And thanking people is important. So the things that I mentioned at the beginning before I went into my big long forgiveness speech was to practice gratitude. And we all need to be saying thank you. I mean, really say thank you. If your wife cooks you dinner every night, or your boyfriend cooks you dinner, or your kids cook you dinner, or they vacuum, or whatever they're doing, say thank you to them. Even if you have to over thank you them. You can never say thank you too much. Um, and the being happy is more important than being right, because when you are so trying to prove yourself right, you're like living in that negative, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. And you don't need that negativity in your life. You need to just let that go. The forgiveness, I just talked a big long bit about that. Um, and limiting your negative talk about other people. If somebody does you wrong, just let it go. That's part of the forgiveness thing. If, like, somebody, I don't know, somebody leaves your office and you feel like you need to finally say, oh my gosh, I can finally tell George what Susie had been doing all this time. You don't need to do that. Just, keep your focus on you and where you're headed, and don't worry about all this extra stuff that's going on. I think my break's over. I went way longer than I thought, but I talked way more about some stuff that I didn't even plan on talking about. But I am working on being a better me. I'm trying to be the best me that I can be. And I'm trying to, I want to help other people be their best thems. And so in order to do that, I can share what I'm learning along the way, right? So I hope that you found a little bit of value. If you found some value in what I said, you could, I don't know, share my video. Because you know what? Honestly, if I had not, there's some people out there that might need to hear this, but I'm going to go back to the assault thing, because when you're assaulted, a lot of women, men too, men especially, because they don't want to admit that it's happened, they just let it sweep it under the rug. Okay, so they're dealing with a lot. Report it. Report it, report it, report it. If I had not reported mine, this guy could have gone on doing it for I don't even know how long. I swear to God that I was attacked solely for the purpose of reporting. And little did I know that my neighbor 4 doors down in my apartment building had been attacked the weekend before, by the same guy, and she was in the hospital fighting for her life. He was a literal monster. And forgiving him was the hardest thing that I ever did. I will never forget the pain that he caused me, and I will never forget, I'm still dealing with a lot of the way that he made me feel, even in subsequent years. That really fucks with your head. Ooh, sorry. So you have to forgive it for your own self. You have to forgive for your own goodness. So positivity, being happy, just focus on being happy, and you will attract what you think about. Okay, you will attract that. When I was in my my deepest depression, I attracted problems to myself. I attracted flat tires. I attracted money problems. I attracted people that are not very nice to me. I was attracting stress at work. I mean, in looking back, I didn't know what was happening at the time, but in looking back, thank you, Becky. In looking back, I can see that my negative thinking was attracting all this darkness. And so since I have been focusing on being happy and grateful, being grateful is amazing, people. I'm telling you, every morning I'm driving. Whether it's cloudy or rainy or sunny, I am thanking God for the beautiful day, and I am thanking Him for all my blessings, because you know what? I could be living on the streets or I could be dead in the ground. But I am here today, and I'm grateful for every breath that I take. And that is attracting to me better circumstances. Um, Good things are happening to me now um, that weren't happening before. I feel better emotionally. Like I said the other day in one of my groups, I'm humming again. I hummed all the time when I was little, and now I'm humming again. So I don't know. I feel good, and I want you to feel good. And stick around, because that's exactly right. You attract to yourself that you are and what you appear to be. Um, so I'm going to be sharing more with you guys about what I'm learning. I think it's important, and I think that I can help some people out there. So have a great night, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me on a Friday when you could be doing so many other things, and letting me vent. And hey, you guys, let me know what you think of my hat. I love this hat. I had it in my closet for a long time, and I thought, I'm not a hat person. And now I think I kind of like it. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. Bye.